All right, you are live. What are we talking about? We are talking about Sequoia Capital today. I had to practice the spelling of Sequoia. All right. By the way, beautiful morning. Beautiful morning today. All right, let's go. Venture capital powerhouse. Established in 1972 by Don Valentine in Menlo Park, California, has become one of the most influential venture capital firms globally, known for its early investments in iconic companies like Apple, Google, Airbnb, rich history of identifying and nurturing startups that have transformed industries. I read a very interesting fact, really interesting. I watched a really interesting screenshot last night, which said that 99% of Sequoia's portfolio companies have either been acquired or they went public. Something like that. Something like that. Which basically they are talking about how successful their investments have been, how successful their choices have been. Oh, this is Sequoia in India. Cars, Teco, Zomato, Rebel, Misho, Mama Earth, Blinkit, Darwin Box, Freshworks, Druva, Bharat Pay, Pine, Cred, Razorpay, OneCard, Five Star Finance, Grow, Baiju, Academy, Polygon, CoinSwitch, Moglix, Zetwork. I've never heard of these guys. Eruditus. I've heard of it. I've heard of it, but edtech in India is in a very bad position right now. Oyo Room, Apna, Black Buck, Pristine Care, Daily Hunt, Mobile Premier League. I pretty much see most of these names. I see like these are like big names. So interesting. I think they're late stage. Inception, founded by Don Valentine, a veteran of the semiconductor industry. Hmm. Don Valentine, veteran of the semiconductor industry. Sequoia First Fund was raised in 74 with 3 million. The fund backed companies like Apple and Atari, setting the stage for the firm's future success. His approach was to invest in visionary entrepreneurs with the potential to create enduring value, a philosophy that has guided Sequoia's investment strategy ever since. Specialized in seed stage, early stage, and growth stage across various technology sectors. It would be interesting to know that out of the big hits, which were seed stage, because that would be interesting. Which means they're really good at picking the potential. Invest in visionary entrepreneurs with the potential to create enduring value across technology sectors, including clean tech, consumer internet, crypto, financial services, healthcare, mobile, robotics. Hmm. Invested 150,000 in 78, aiding in the development of Apple II. So 74, they raised their first fund of 3 million. 4 years later, 150K, Apple II. Hmm. Google, okay, this was late stage. 25 million investment 99, helped Google refine its business strategy and expand globally. WhatsApp, 600K investment in 2009 was pivotal for the messaging app's growth. Early investment of 600K in 2009 helped Airbnb establish itself in the sharing economy. Recognizing the potential of video conferencing, Sequoia invested in Zoom during its early stages. Expanded its footprint with offices in China, India, and Southeast Asia, reflecting the ambition to partner with transformative companies across diverse markets. This is really cool. Okay. We don't know the exact details of Zoom, but 600K in Airbnb. That's interesting. 600K in Airbnb. That's very early stage. Wow. 2009. 600K WhatsApp 2009. Wow. Regional focus. Sequoia Capital Operations focused on US and Europe. Peak XV Partners, India and Southeast Asia. In Hongshan. Hongshan, dedicated to China. Hongshan. Hongshan. That's an interesting name. Peak XV. I believe Peak XV is 15. Peak 15 Partners. I believe it's because I believe it's a mountain. It's the tallest mountain on India's side. It's the tallest mountain in Himalaya on the India side, and I think that's the reason why they call it Peak 15, PXV. And Hongshan would be interesting. Actually, let's check it out. And Perplexity has This ask follow up feature, I don't know how to do it, but let's see. Hongshan. Origin of the name Hongshan. And let's continue. Okay. Companies account for more than 25% of Nasdaq's total value, showcasing the firm's significant impact on tech industry. Is primarily on behalf of nonprofits and schools with organizations like Ford Foundation, Boston Children's Hospital forming a significant part of its limited partner base. Hmm. Invest primarily on behalf of nonprofits and schools, with organizations like Ford Foundation and Boston Children's Hospital forming a significant part of its limited partner base. Very interesting. Right, where is this capital coming from? You have to raise this capital from somewhere, and then you have to focus on making sure you make the right investments, you make the right bets. Hmm. Fund structure. 21 Sequoia announced a new fund structure for its US and European business, allowing for more flexibility investments and the ability to remain involved with companies post IPO. More flexibility in investments and the ability to remain involved with companies post IPO. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now they're playing more long term. They don't just want to exit. You invested in this company when I did IPO. Oh, this is the time when you made all the money. So exit. No, you want to stay with the company. You were involved for so long. Like, look at how long it takes for companies to IPO now, like almost like 10 years. Because you invested so much time and you still believe in this company because now is the time when it's time to reap the rewards and the company can actually make massive impact. That's the time when you want to remain involved in the company because yeah, it's a 10-year long relationship now. 22 Sequoia raises 600 million fund focused on cryptocurrencies adapting to emerging trends in the tech landscape. Open source fellowship. 23 initiative funds open source developers reflecting their commitment to fostering innovation beyond traditional venture capital. Bharat Pay, accused of enabling financial irregularities at the fintech startup Bharat Pay, leading to the resignation of key figures. Hmm. Enabling financial irregularities at the fintech startup, leading to resignation of key figures. WeWork faced criticism for its role in WeWork's troubled IPO in 2019. Investment in ByteDance, the parent company, drew scrutiny due to concerns over censorship and data privacy. Hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. You are thinking more from a VC perspective, what companies will blow up, what companies will do good, they will build enduring value. So you're investing in the right companies, but also then you have to think about that, hey, my business is about finding companies wherever they are. But the problem is when I go wherever they are, within my portfolio companies, there might be a lot of struggle just from a national security perspective. From a modest 3 million fund to a venture capital giant with yeah, even raising 3 million fund in 1974 was hard. Like that's a lot of money. To a venture capital giant with over 85 billion in assets under management by 22 is a testament to its visionary approach, strategic investments and commitment to fostering innovation. Its legacy is not just in the companies it has helped build, but also in its influence on the venture capital industry and its dedication to supporting causes beyond profit. Hongshan. The name Hongshan is derived from the Chinese name for sequoia, which is Hongshan. Okay, okay. This name translates to redwood in English, reflecting the firm's original name inspired by the California redwood trees. The decision to adopt the English translation was part of Sequoia Capital's strategic move to separate its China operations into an independent entity, allowing it to operate under its own brand while maintaining its historical connection to the Sequoia name. Hmm, really cool. Really cool. And while we do that, let's also check Origin of the name Peak 15 partners. Let's see. Our name has changed. Our conviction has deepened. Peak XV. I know him. Yes. He's the face of Sequoia. Interesting. Peak XV is derived from the original name given to Mount Everest, which was Peak XV. This name was chosen to symbolize the relentless pursuit of audacious goals by founders, reflecting the firm's commitment to supporting entrepreneurs in their journey. The rebranding signifies a new beginning for the firm, building on the foundation laid over the last 17 years while maintaining its focus on investing in and nurturing startups in India, South Asia, and beyond. Hmm. Original name given to Mount Everest. Oh, wow, we are getting into a random rabbit hole. Tell me the story. I thought Peak 15 was the highest point of Mount Everest on India side, but it seems like that is wrong. Let's see. Discovery initial naming. By the way, who gave the name? Original name given. Okay, let's see. Mount Everest. Mount Everest. Gold. Gold. This photo is good. Look at this. The sun is bright. You can see everything, the edges, the snow, everything that's reflecting. Wow. Wow. 53, the first ascent of Everest, New Zealander Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay. Right, Sherpa. They climb from the Nepal side. Everest. Hmm. Wait. I thought I thought Everest was between India and Nepal. But Everest is actually between Nepal and China. Okay. New Zealander Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay reached the world's highest peak via the South Col route. This has become the most frequented part of the summit, base camp. The British expedition left Kathmandu at the end of Feb. Kumbu, icefall. April and May, the expedition set numerous camps along the route. Nuptse, lost. Hotse. Last challenge before the summit, a 12-meter high rock face, later named the Hillary Step. This one. Hillary and Tenzing reach summit at 11:30 on May 29, 1953. Really cool. Really cool. Really cool. I'm thinking they're talking about this last peak. Wow. 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 Okay. During the Great Trigonometric Survey of British India, the Great Trigonometric Survey of British India in the 19th century, surveyors identified a stupendous snowy mass from Darjeeling. During the Great Trigonometric Survey of British India in the 19th century, surveyors identified a stupendous snowy mass from Darjeeling, over 140 miles away. Initially, this peak was labeled as Gamma and later changed to Peak B. in 1847. It was suspected to be the highest mountain in the world, surpassing Kanchenjunga, which was then considered the tallest. After several years of surveying and calculations, the peak was officially confirmed as the world's highest in 1856, with an elevation of 8839.8 meters. It was then renamed Peak 15 by Andrew Scott Whoa. Whoa. Ambulance. Okay. It was then renamed Peak 15 by Andrew Scott Waugh, the British Surveyor General of India, who succeeded Sir George Everest in the post. Who succeeded Andrew Scott, the British Surveyor General of India, who succeeded Sir George Everest in this post. Waugh chose this Wog. I don't know how to say this name. Wog chose this name as a temporary designation, using Roman numerals to differentiate it from other peaks in the range. Despite the local names like Chomolungma, 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 Tibetan, and Sagarmat, Nepali. Waugh claimed that there was no commonly used local name known to the British at the time. He proposed naming it after his predecessor, Sir George Everest, arguing that the mountain had no local name that could be universally accepted. This decision was controversial as Sir George Everest himself opposed the honor, believing that local names should be used. Hmm. Chomolungma, Sagarmat, Mount Everest, Peak 15. Very interesting. Very interesting. Official naming. In 65, the Royal Geographical Society officially adopted the name Mount Everest based on Waug's recommendation, despite Everest's objections. Very interesting. Wow. Royal Geographical Society. Royal Geographical Society. The name Everest was chosen as a compromise due to the difficulty in selecting one local name over others, and because it was thought to be easily recognizable and pronounceable by the civilized nations of the time. By the civilized nations of the time, in quotation marks. The name Mount Everest has since become synonymous with the highest point on Earth. The name Mount Everest has since become synonymous with the highest point on Earth, overshadowing its original designation as Peak 15. However, the mountain's local names Chomolungma and Sagarmat continue to be used by the indigenous people of the region, reflecting their culture and spiritual significance. I don't know why they're using the term indigenous. It's the people who live there. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see. Tell me the story of the Great Trigonometric Survey of British India. East India Company to map the Indian subcontinent with scientific precision. Wow, wow. Hypotenuse, basis, what is this? Cath something. Wow. Myanmar. Interesting. Server's pocket compass. Hmm. Was a monumental project initiated in the early 19th century by the British East India Company to map the Indian subcontinent with scientific precision. Proposal and start. In 1800, William Lambton, an infantry officer with Surveying experience proposed a method of triangulation. Hmm. In 1800, William Lambton, an infantry officer with surveying experience, proposed a method of triangulation to map the newly acquired territories of Mysore. His proposal was accepted and the survey began on April 10, 1802, with a measurement of a baseline near Madras, now Chennai. This baseline was 7.5 miles long, stretching from St. Thomas Mount to Perambok Hill. Triangulation. Lambton's approach involved creating a series of triangles across the subcontinent. Hmm, interesting. Lambton's approach involved creating a series of triangles across the subcontinent by measuring angles and distances within these triangles. Surveyors could map the terrain with remarkable accuracy. By measuring angles and distances within these triangles, surveyors could map the terrain remarkable, with remarkable accuracy. George Everest. Upon Lambton's death in 23, George Everest took over the leadership of the survey, who would later give his name to the world's highest peak, continued the work with a focus of precision and scientific rigor. This is interesting because just before we read that, he actually opposed to giving his name to the world's highest peak, continued the work with a focus on precision and scientific rigor. Challenges. The surveyors faced numerous challenges, including harsh terrain, extreme weather conditions, and diseases like fever. Despite these obstacles, they persevered, often working with minimal resources and enduring significant hardships. Hmm. And diseases like fever. Despite these obstacles, they persevered, often working with minimal resources and enduring significant hardships. Mapping the Great Indian Arc. The survey aimed to measure the Great Indian Arc of the Meridian, a 1600-mile stretch from Cape Comorin in the south to Dehradun near the Nepal border in the north. This was the longest direct measurement of the Earth's surface ever undertaken. So I'm guessing they're talking about this 1600 miles right over here. Wow. The survey aimed to measure the Great Indian Arc of the Meridian, a 1600-mile stretch from Cape Comorin in the south to Dehradun near the Nepal border in the north. This was the longest direct measurement of the Earth's surface ever taken. The survey not only mapped the subcontinent but also measured the heights of several Himalayan peaks, including Mount Everest, K2, and Kanchenjunga. The height of Mount Everest was first accurately measured in 56, with a result of 29,002 feet, remarkably close to the modern accepted value. Right, it's 29,029. Wow. Legacy and impact. Scientific impact. The Great Trigonometrical Survey was a pioneering effort in geodesy, providing one of the first accurate measurements of a section of an arc of longitude. It also contributed to the understanding of the Earth's shape as an spheroid, oblate spheroid. Hmm. Colonial control. The survey was not just a scientific endeavor but also served the British colonial agenda. It provided the necessary geographical knowledge for revenue collection, administrative purposes, and military dominion, thereby legitimizing British rule. Hmm. The survey was not just a scientific endeavor but also served the British colonial agenda. It provided the necessary geographical knowledge for revenue collection, administrative purposes, and military dominion, thereby legitimizing British rule. In 1875, under Surveyor General Colonel J.T. Walker, the great trigonometrical, topographical, and revenue surveys were amalgamated into the Survey of India, marking the end of Great Trigonometrical Survey as an independent project. Testament to the ambition and precision of 19th century science as well as the colonial enterprise of the British in India. transform the subcontinent from an exotic and largely unknown region into a well defined geographical entity, contributing significantly to both scientific knowledge and imperial control. Hmm. This was very interesting. We found this rabbit hole, but should we go back? Let's go back. What are the major events in the history of Sequoia Capital since its inception? All right, 72. Founded by Don Valentine, Menlo Park, California. Silicon Valley was just beginning to develop. Valentine, a veteran of the semiconductor industry, chose the name Sequoia to reflect long term stability and commitment to empowering the next generation of entrepreneurs. Don Valentine, let's go. Sequoia. Investors portfolio. This is an AI generated image which totally messed up the spelling. Stop. This image was hot linked. What is hot linked? What is hot linked? Someone links to a file hosted on another website without downloading or hosting it on their own server. Interesting. Okay. Balance of control. Venture firms. Cottage industry. Nia, Norway, Sequoia, Greylock, Lightspeed, Kleiner Perkins. V. What is V? V is that Vanguard? No. What is V? I think I know V. LPs are high net worth and family offices. VCs hold the power as supply of capital is limited. SAP, Oracle, Apple, Intel, HP, Microsoft. Capital boom, 80 to 2000. Excel, DFJ, Intel Capital, IDG, Inside Battery. Enactment of ERISA and Revenue Act power start of smart money. Founders have more influence. CBC merges. So now you have Yahoo, Netflix, Google, Salesforce, Amazon, Dell. Before you had SAP, Oracle, Intel, HP, Microsoft, Apple. Okay. Dot com bust. Balance of control. Control goes down and down and down. Capital plus service. True Ventures, YC, A16Z, Lux, first round. New entrants. VCs provide tools, resources, and support. Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Airbnb. Wait, Twitter. Twitter is post 2004? That's crazy. Uber, Snapchat. Era of democratization. Floodgate, Cowboy. Wow, I don't remember. I don't know any of these. B slash is that benchmark? No. Micro VC boom. Micro VC boom. Right. So these are really small, homogeneous term sheets, founder friendly. Peloton, Joule, Bird, Instacart, Slack, Robinhood, Lyft, adapting to change. Increased non-traditional investor participation, bigger fund sizes, new operating structures, diversity in GPs, strategy, sector, geography, stage, data-driven capital as a service. It's actually interesting because all these people who made a lot of money from these earlier startups, earlier only they had the money. So they put in their money over here to make more money. And then once these companies started to go public, a bunch of people from here, employees of this VC made money. A bunch of employees and executives from here made money. And then they were like, what do we do next? Let's go into VC. So I'm pretty sure like most of the people who got into this stage made a lot of money in this stage. And then they were like, let's become VCs too because they control the capital. And this kept on happening until the until the extremes came into the middle, where the extreme was one had the money, the other was building the company, one was the investor, the other was the founder, and slowly it came close where there was no difference between a founder and an investor. This is so interesting. Valentine, a veteran of the semiconductor industry, chose the name Sequoia to reflect long term stability and commitment to empowering the next generation of entrepreneurs. Formed its first venture capital fund with 3 million, marking the beginning of its investment journey. 75 became an early investor in Atari, one of the pioneering companies in the video game industry. 78 became one of the first investors in Apple, a company that would go on to revolutionize personal computing. 96 partners Doug Leone and Michael Moritz assumed leadership of the firm, marking a significant transition in management. 96 established a dedicated, sorry, 99 established a dedicated investment fund for Israeli startups, expanding its geographical reach. 2005 China was established, followed by Sequoia Capital India, marking the firm's expansion into Asia. Mm. So after almost 20 years, then they made these entities independent. 2012, Michael Moritz took a step back from day-to-day operations due to health concerns, and Doug Leone became the global managing partner. 16, Sequoia hired Jess Lee, making her the first female investing partner in the United States in the firm's history. Whoa, big, really big. And again, if Sequoia is hiring someone, it's not because of DEI or whatever that is. Yeah, it's not because of DEI. It's because that person is really legit. They are really what's the word? Legit. I think legit makes sense. Sequoia hired Jess Lee, making her the first female investing partner in the United States in the firm's history. Jim Goetz, who had been instrumental in investments like WhatsApp, stepped back from his role as one of the firm's stewards, and Roloff Botha took over. I think I've read this name before. 2020, Sequoia announced it would hire Luciana Alexandru as its first partner based in Europe, further expanding its global presence. This name is so European. I Let me guess. Let me guess where is Luciana from? Luxembourg. Luciana Alexandru from Luxembourg makes sense. Sequoia announced the Sequoia Capital Fund, a new fund structure for its US and European business, allowing for more flexibility in investments and the ability to remain involved with companies post IPO. Capital Fund. Okay. 22. Raised 600 million Sequoia Crypto Fund, focusing on cryptocurrencies. Announced raising 2.85 billion in additional funds to invest in India and Southeast Asia, the largest amount to date for the company in these regions. Announced plans to break up into three entities due to geopolitical tensions and operational complexities. The Chinese business would be called Hongshan. The Indian and Southeast Asia arm would be named Peak 15 Partners, and the US and Europe unit would retain the Sequoia name. Reduce the size of its cryptocurrency fund from 585 million to 200 million. Okay, so this happened in 2002 when, yeah, there was a peak, there was a boom. So even they reduced their crypto fund. Interesting. Shifting focus to young startups after an industry crash. Launched its open source fellowship to fund open source developers annually via an equity free fellowship. Led a Series B funding round of 77 million for Fireworks AI. This is crazy. Fireworks AI, nobody has heard of it. And they're not going hard on OpenAI or Claude or the big players. They're going hard on Fireworks AI. Nobody has heard of it. At least I have not heard of it. So let me quickly check. Is Fireworks AI successful? Quick question. Evolution from a small venture capital firm to a global powerhouse, its strategic investments, leadership transitions, and its adaptation to changing market conditions and geopolitical landscapes. Very interesting. Dawn Valentine, 3 million to now, where they are raising funds of from 3 million to 3 billion. No, this is just India and Southeast Asia. You don't know how much they raised for US and Europe. 20 years at Meta and LinkedIn. Fireworks. Sequoia Nvidia back Fireworks AI. Is this, why do we have a picture of Eiffel Tower? Generative AI platform provider has demonstrated significant success since its inception. Series B secured 52 million, led by Sequoia, valuing the company at 552 million. Participation from Nvidia, AMD, MongoDB, strong investor confidence. Raised 77 million, robust financial backing for its growth and development. Over the past 6 months, experienced a 100x increase in traffic, highlighting its rapid market adoption and growth. Recognized as an emerging leader in the AI inference market, technology and team being praised for their performance and innovation. Specializes in providing a generative AI platform optimized for speed, value, and scale. Technology bridges the gap between prototype and production, offering tools for developers and enterprises to deploy AI solutions efficiently. Company boasts impressive performance metrics, including 9x faster retrieval augmented generation (RAG), retrieval augmented generation, faster image generation, 40x lower cost for chat application using Llama 3, building compound AI systems which use multiple components instead of a single large model, allowing for more tailored and efficient AI solutions. Diverse clientele, Cresta, Cursor, Linear, as well as tech giants like DoorDash, Quora, Upwork. Really cool. Right, so they are kind of the infrastructure, they're the back end. Form partnership with major cloud providers, NVIDIA, AMD, AWS, GCP, Oracle, collaborated with MongoDB to enhance its AI capabilities. Led by CEO Lin Kuo, who previously headed Meta's PyTorch team, Fireworks AI benefits from deep expertise in AI infrastructure and model development. Aims to lead the shift towards compound AI systems, envisioning a future where AI deployment across industries becomes more sophisticated and efficient. Really cool. Okay, so things are happening. I am really curious. Does Sequoia lose money investment when they break up into three independent entities for US, India, and China? Let's see what exactly happens. I mean, I hope we get more details over here. Financial implications. Entities for US, India, and China have several financial implications. Loss of synergies and shared resources. Centralized back office functions. Right. So this was kind of a problem with that they said that because we had a centralized back office in the US, it would actually slow communications down. So we would rather have independent units that just operated for that country. Capital markets, payments, payroll benefits. What is this? Investment thesis, fintech, regulation tech, insurance, business banking, crypto, multis, EDXM, accounting and taxes. Real estate, Landis, prop bidder, Zephyr. What year is this? 2002. Personal finance, Juro, IMOS. Never heard of these names. Payroll benefits, yes. Remote rippling, true work. Remote and rippling both are good. Payments, Klarna, Telda, Yokov, Captivate IQ. Capital markets, Citadel, Securities, Capitalist, Legi, Watershed, Watershed. Okay, let's see. The split means that each entity will need to establish its own infrastructure, okay? Ensuring back office functions like compliance, legal, and administrative support, increase operational costs at these functions were previously centralized, providing economies of scale. Portfolio conflicts. Separation aims to mitigate conflicts arising from overlapping investments across regions. However, this could potentially lead to missed opportunities or reduced leverage in negotiations due to the lack of unified global brand. The shared Sequoia brand has led to confusion in the market, which the splits aim to resolve. However, rebranding and establishing new identities might initially cause some market confusion and could impact investor confidence. Profit sharing impact on limited partners. Hmm. The cessation of profit sharing between the regional funds by December 31, 23 means that each entity will retain its profits independently. This could lead to a more fragmented approach to returns for LPs, potentially affecting their overall investment strategy. Hmm. Investor choice. LPs might need to choose which of the three entities to invest in, potentially leading to a reallocation of capital. This could result in LPs withdrawing, some LPs withdrawing or reducing their investments in one or more of new entities. Interesting. Regulatory compliance. The split allows for more tailored regulatory compliance in each region, potentially reducing the complexity of managing compliance across different jurisdictions. However, this also means each entity must independently navigate regulatory environments, which could be costly and time consuming. Each entity must independently navigate regulatory environments, which could be costly and time consuming. Competition for deals. With the split, the three entities might compete for deals, potentially driving up costs or leading to less favorable terms for investments. This could impact the overall profitability of each entity. The split comes at a time when Sequoia has faced challenges, including markdowns in some of its funds and high-profile investment losses like FTX. By the way, I totally forgot to take my protein powder, and now I'm feeling hungry, so we'll take a 5 minute break and come back. All right, we are back. And let's see. This was a good break. I feel fresh. I hope the screen is still sharing. Let me update. Okay, perfect. Very good. Hmm. So what it seems like is the back office. So are still it's still one umbrella of Sequoia, but then all the entities within that umbrella operate differently, operate independently. They don't share back office. They have to do everything by themselves. The only one thing that's common is the inflow of LPs, inflow of capital money. Like their LPs are still sending money to Sequoia. LPs are sending money to Sequoia, and they kind of also have to decide that okay, out of all the money that they're sending, how much should go to each entity. So the inflow, like the selling to the LPs, is still just one entity that actually sells to the LPs that hey, give us money. But then LPs have to make a decision that okay, in which entity do they want their money to go into? In which pipe do they want their money to flow into? Okay, now let's get into the good part. Quotes from Don Valentine. I think this would be really cool. We'll go into quotes from Michael Moritz, Doug Leone. I think it will be really cool. Let's see. Remembering Don Valentine. Oh, Don Valentine, 1932 to 2019. Okay, so Don Valentine, he started Sequoia when he was 50 years old, 1974. Wow. Wow. Today's solution is wrong for tomorrow. Today's solution is wrong for tomorrow. You have to recognize that what you have is not the end, it's not the limit. Change happens everywhere, only the rate differs. Today's solution is wrong for tomorrow. You have to recognize that what you have is not the end, it's not the limit. Change happens everywhere, only the rate differs. Don Valentine. The world of technology thrives best when individuals are left alone to be different, creative, and disobedient. Hmm. This is where true innovation happens. And this is why SF looks exactly like this: different, creative, disobedient. The world of technology thrives best when individuals are left alone to be different, creative, and disobedient. Memorial service will be held on January 9. Oh, January 9, 2019. So exactly 5 years ago. 3 p.m. in Bing Concert Hall at Stanford University. Hmm. I think you would agree that you are a strong personality, Valentine. After so many years of listening to other people tell me that I got the message. I thought at first I knew only all the timid people in the world. I think you would agree that you are a strong personality. After so many years of listening to other people tell me that I got the message. I thought at first I knew only the timid I only I thought at first I knew only all the timid people in the world. Very cool. Very cool. Why we partnered. Trip Hawkins' vision for bringing together the worlds of art and challenge convention. After meeting with Trip to learn about his idea for game publishing and his decision to leave Apple, Sequoia's founder Don Valentine invited him to start his company out of Sequoia's office. Oh, really cool. Really cool. Really cool. Really cool. So, Electronic Arts started from really cool. Really cool. Bringing together. This makes sense. This makes sense. I think it would be really cool to just see like who are all these early Apple people who were just really smart and who went on to do really cool things. Okay. Targeting big markets, market focus. Wait, where are the quotes? Ah, this is the fifth or sixth sneeze recorded live. Okay. Can be attributed to several key strategies and philosophies as articulated by its founder Don Valentine. Market focus. Primary focus has always been on the size of the market, its dynamics, and the nature of competition rather than solely on the team or product. Sequoia's primary focus has always been on the size of the market, its dynamics, and the nature of competition rather than solely on the team or the product. Hmm. Valentine emphasizes that attacking big markets is crucial for building big companies. Exploiting markets early. Instead of creating new markets, Sequoia aims to exploit existing markets early, recognizing that this approach is less expensive and more likely to yield significant returns. Instead of creating new markets, Sequoia aims to exploit existing markets early, recognizing that this approach is less expensive and more likely to yield significant returns. Hmm. Existing markets early, less expensive and more likely to yield significant returns. Investment criteria and philosophy, high gross margins and cash flow. Valentine highlighted the importance of high gross margins and cash flow, high gross margins and cash flow as the two most critical financial metrics for business success, dismissing other metrics as less relevant. Make sense? High gross margins and cash flow. Storytelling, the ability to tell a compelling story is crucial for attracting investment. Valentine noted that money flows as a function of the story, emphasizing the importance of entrepreneurs being able to articulate their vision effectively. Hmm. The ability to tell a compelling story is crucial for attracting investment. Valentine noted that money flows as a function of the story, emphasizing the importance of entrepreneurs being able to articulate their vision effectively. Socratic questioning. Sequoia uses Socratic questioning to identify opportunities and assess the entrepreneur's thought process, focusing on the right questions rather than having all the answers. Socratic questioning. Hmm. Socratic questioning. Sequoia uses Socratic questioning to identify opportunities and assess the entrepreneur's thought process, focusing on the right questions rather than having all the answers. Reputation and experience. Sequoia's reputation, along with his unique experience at Fairchild Semiconductor, gave the firm an edge in attracting exceptional founders. He was 50 years old, so he had a lot of experience doing the right things and just, yeah, very cool. By then, he would have a lot of network, he would have done a lot of work, he would have a lot of reputation, credibility, management and decision making, consensus decision making. Sequoia makes investment decisions by consensus among partners, ensuring a collective agreement on the potential of each investment. Makes investment decisions by consensus among partners, ensuring a collective agreement on the potential of each investment. Avoiding distractions. He counseled management to avoid distractions and execute with constructive paranoia. Counseled management to avoid distractions and execute with constructive paranoia, focusing on what truly matters for business success. Stability and continuity. Sequoia was built with stability and continuity of partnership in mind, fostering a long term approach to investments. Working at Sequoia requires confidence, and Valentine sought people different from himself to foster productive confrontations, enhancing decision making processes. Was critical of HR departments, believing that companies start to decline when HR takes over, suggesting a lean approach to management. Rooted in its strategic focus on big markets, its emphasis on high gross margins and cash flow, and its unique approach to investment and management. By prioritizing market dynamics over team credentials, employing Socratic questioning, and fostering a culture of storytelling and consensus. They has built a legacy of identifying and nurturing companies that have transitioned industries. Really cool. Really cool. Oh, this is cool. Okay, pretty much the question I wanted to ask. How did Don Valentine's experiences at Fairchild influence his investment strategies? Time at Fairchild Semiconductor was pivotal in shaping his investment strategies at Sequoia Capital. Semiconductor. His role at Fairchild, where he was head of sales and marketing. Okay, so he was head of sales and marketing. He wasn't like the research, the tech guy who was making chips. Because he was head of sales and marketing, he got to work on a product that was the most important thing happening in the world. And the most important thing, it's like working at Chat GPT right now. And then not only he is the then not only he is just working over there, just a random guy, but he's the head of sales and marketing, which means he has a lot of power. Everybody's coming to him. He's making a lot of relationships, and if he's really good at it, which it seems like he was already obviously good at it, he just he just got a lot out of it. Really cool. Okay, what happened to Perplexity? Something weird happened. We have to refresh the page. And if we refresh the page, we have to reshare the screen. I think this is what happened yesterday when I refreshed Dawn Valentine. This is a great photo. Really good photo. Semiconductor. He was head of sales and marketing, provided him with first-hand knowledge of the semiconductor industry, where he was at the forefront of technological innovation. Experience allowed him to know the future, as he put it, understanding the critical role semiconductors would play in the tech industry's future. Marketing skills. His background in marketing, honed at Fairchild, became a key driver of his investment strategy. He focused on the size of potential market rather than solely on the team or technology, recognizing that market dynamics were crucial for building big companies. Yeah, he was not only good at his work, he was not only building relationships, he was not only building credibility, but he really understood the market. He really saw what companies who were using Fairchild semiconductors went on to become big, and what companies, even though they looked big, they crashed and burned. Honor Fairchild became a key driver of his investment strategy. He focused on the size of the potential market rather than solely on the team or technology, recognizing that market dynamics were crucial for building big companies. He focused on the size of the potential market rather than solely on the team or technology. Valentine's philosophy was to invest in areas that were inflection points in technology. Valentine's philosophy was to invest in areas that were inflection points in technology where he saw great potential for growth. This approach was influenced by his understanding of market transitions and the importance of exploiting existing markets early. Influenced by his understanding of market transitions and the importance of exploiting existing markets early. High gross margins and cash flow. He emphasized the importance of high gross margins and cash flow as the two most critical financial metrics for business success, dismissing other metrics as less relevant. Personally knew the network of people creating and developing the latest semiconductors at Fairchild. This network provided him with unique insights and access to promising entrepreneurs and technologies. Sequoia used Socratic questioning to identify opportunities. Right. All these really smart people, they're constantly thinking about things, and they would give you more unique insights about what's gonna work. Sequoia used Socratic questioning to identify opportunities and assess the entrepreneur's thought process, focusing on the right questions rather than having all the answers. This approach was likely influenced by Valentine's experience in sales and marketing, where understanding the customer's needs were paramount, focusing on the right questions rather than having all the answers. Hmm. Experience at Fairchild, where he saw the long term potential of semiconductors, influenced his approach to venture capital. He believed in the power of disruptive technology and the potential of visionary entrepreneurs to create market leading companies, focusing on fostering a long term perspective in investments. His time at Fairchild was instrumental in shaping his investment strategies at Sequoia. His deep understanding of the semiconductor industry, marketing skills, focus on market dynamics, and network of innovators all contributed. Hmm. Deep understanding of semiconductor industry, marketing skills, focus on market dynamics, and network of innovators all contributed to his unique approach to venture capital. This approach, which prioritized market size, high gross margins, and long term vision, market size, high gross margins, and long term vision set Sequoia apart and led to its success in backing companies like Apple, Cisco, and Oracle. Really cool. Where do we go from here? Quotes from Doug Leone. I think quotes are really cool. Quotes get me going. You have to be willing to risk things, otherwise somebody else will put you out of business. It is a business where people's lives are at stake, emphasizing the high stakes and responsibility in venture capital. It is a business where people's lives are at stake, emphasizing the high stakes and responsibility in venture capital. What we do is company building, highlighting the core mission of Sequoia Capital. You cannot do what we do if you are investing in 5 deals a week. Reflecting on the intensive nature of venture capital and the need for focus. You cannot do what we do if you are investing in 5 deals a week. The only question that to me matters is what can this company be in what can this company be 5 years from now? Focusing on long term potential over short term metrics. I'm very honored to welcome Doug Leone, Global Managing Partner at Sequoia Capital. So random. Simplicity wins. If you want to move faster, simple is your friend. Advocating for simplicity in business operations. If you want to move faster, simple is your friend. This is perfect. This is perfect. Simplicity wins. If you want to move faster, simple is your friend. Leaders evolve. Leone began as a competitive investor when he was young and evolved into somebody who values insight and maturity above anything else, reflecting on personal growth and leadership evolution. Leaders evolve. Leone began as a competitive investor when he was young and evolved into somebody who values insight and maturity above anything else, reflecting on personal growth and leadership evolution. Hmm. Oh, oh. You don't see my screen. No, that's my. Do you see my screen now? Hey, do you see my screen now? Do you see my screen now? Oh, oh. What is happening? Why is there a problem with going live? Simplicity wins. If you want to move faster, simple is your friend. Leaders evolve. Leone began as a competitive investor when young and evolved into somebody who values insight and maturity above anything else. Understand intrinsic motivations. Leone was famous for trying to identify what drives a person as early as possible, discussing the importance of understanding founders' motivations. Understand intrinsic motivations. Leone was famous for trying to identify what drives a person as early as possible. Culture eats strategy for breakfast, emphasizing the importance of company culture. Trust is earned through short term sacrifice, highlighting the value of trust building through personal investment in the firm's success. Investing firms are becoming technology firms, recognizing the shift towards tech enabled investing. The gap between an investor and a founder is reducing. The more and more you see investors, the more you see investors, the more you see young investors, bad framing. Now, more and more, I am seeing young investors who are like, hey, VC sound like a cool job, but it feels really weird that I'm 20 to 23 years old. I'm advising this company who's running like $1 million, multi-million dollar business, and I have no operational experience. I am craving operational experience where I don't just sit and read reports and do research, but I actually drive a company, drive the operations, drive the business development, drive marketing, drive growth, or something like that, drive engineering of the company. And that's very interesting. And for founders, founders also realize that, hey, after a point in time, everybody becomes a professional investor because you just understand that, wait, you gain so much more. You get a statistically significant more yield when you just invest, when you make just the right investment decisions. If you just made the right decision of investing into Bitcoin in like not even 2011, but even in 2015 or 2016, you would through Coinbase, the safest place, not through a sketchy investment app that would have rugged you, that would have been the best decision. So you kind of realize that, hey, after a point, for even operators, that hey, just be a professional investor, invest in the right things. And for investors, we cannot sit and advise, and we cannot really sit and help a founder if we are not an operator ourselves. So the gap between founder and investor, or an operator and an investor, is becoming really thin. And with AI, now you are both. You are just investing your time in the right problems. Very interesting. Okay. Invest in outliers. VC investing is all about finding outlier businesses, but what are you doing to find outlier people? Invest in outliers. VC investing is all about finding outlier businesses, but what are you doing to find outlier people? Discussing the importance of identifying exceptional founders. Capital is not as commoditized as you think. Capital is not as commoditized as you think. Advising founders to be selective about their investors. Always take risk. If something is working like a dream, break it. Wow. Always take risk. Take risks. If something is working like a dream, break it. Encouraging risk taking and continuous innovation. We are always one or two new investments away from becoming a second tier firm, reflecting on the competitive nature of venture capital. If it ain't broke, don't fix it does not apply to Sequoia Capital. It is the exact opposite. If it ain't broke, fix it. Hmm. Advocating for constant change and improvement. Some of the greatest companies got created during times like this, noting that challenging times can foster the creation of great companies. What we have right now is a bit of a shit show. Current state of startup ecosystem. Where did he? What year was this? Underscored that great companies are often born in tough times and too much easy money can spoil company founders. True. The thing I can do is the black magic. Black magic is reserved for founders. Acknowledging the unique role of founders in creating exceptional companies. You lose the founder, you lose the soul of a company. Emphasizing the importance of founders in maintaining a company's vision and culture. Hmm, really cool. Quotes from Michael Moritz. Michael Moritz is a very popular name that we have heard a lot about. By the way, let me also quickly check from my phone if the stream is working or not. Okay, let's see. Okay, screen is being shared. Thank you to my friend. All right, quotes from Michael Moritz. This is going to be the last one, and then we'll end the stream. This is really cool. This is really cool. Here are some notable quotes from Michael Moritz, a prominent venture capitalist at Sequoia Capital. The pleasure of the venture business is proving that the impossible is possible. This quote encapsulates the ethos of venture capital, emphasizing the joy in backing ventures that defy conventional expectations. Defy is a French word. The origin is from a French word, defy, which means challenge. Ventures that defy conventional expectations. It is about listening intently and communicating clearly and distilling everything to its raw essence, which is something that you learn as a journalist. Hmm. It is about listening intently and communicating clearly and distilling everything to its raw essence, which is something that you learn as a journalist. Importance of communication and understanding the core of an idea, skills he honed during his journalism career. I rarely think about big themes. This business is like bird spotting or bird watching. I don't try to pick out the flock. Each one is different, and I try to find an interestingly complicated bird in a flock rather than try to make an observation about an entire flock. Explains his approach to investing, focusing on individual opportunities rather than broad market trends. It's obviously unfair to paint with a broad brush here, but the germ of an idea for a breakthrough in technology doesn't come out of a business school curriculum. It comes out of a lab or a math lecture or a physics tutorial. Underscores the origin of innovative ideas often outside traditional business education. Laboratory, 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 or a math lecture or a physics tutorial. It's obviously unfair to paint with a broad brush here, but the germ of an idea for a breakthrough in technology doesn't come out of a business school curriculum. It comes out of a laboratory or a math lecture or a physics tutorial. All you need to do is listen. The grammar is weird over here. Okay. All you need to do is listen to very smart people and sift out the ideas that are unworthy or implausible. And I wouldn't pretend for a moment that I hadn't made lots of mistakes and there are companies perhaps that we had been investors in. Importance of listening to experts and the inevitability of making mistakes in venture investing. There's nothing more invigorating than being deeply involved with a small company and a young team of founders out to do something incredibly special. Expresses the excitement of working closely with startups and their founders. There's nothing more invigorating than being deeply involved with a small company and a young team of founders out to do something incredibly special. The most important attribute is hunger. Identifies hunger or deep ambition as a crucial trait in founders. The most important attribute is hunger. Moritz identifies hunger or deep ambition as a crucial trait in founders. I cannot think of a single investment we have made where things didn't go wrong before they started to go right. Highlights the resilience required venture capital, acknowledging that setbacks are common before success. We've always been afraid of going out of business. Shares a key factor in Sequoia Capital's success, emphasizing the constant fear of failure as a motivator. Constant fear of failure as a motivator. Constant fear of failure as a motivator. We've always been afraid of going out of business. It takes a long time for perception to catch up with reality, so most people's perception of China is 20 years behind the times. Underestimation on China's technological and economic progress. Technological. History shows that there is no more potent engine for reform than the passion of voters who feel betrayed by the politicians they hope would do the right thing. Hmm. My undergraduate degree was in history, and I wish I had been smart enough to really excel at maths, physics, chemistry, or biology because the voyagers and adventurers, because the voyagers and adventurers and real contributors, that's where they come from. I wish I had been smart enough to excel, to really excel at maths, physics, chemistry, or biology. Mhm. Maths, physics, chemistry, or biology, because the voyagers and adventurers and real contributors, that's where they come from. Hmm. There's nothing more invigorating than being deeply involved with a small company and a young team of founders out to do something incredibly special. If I were running a company, I would always want to listen to the thoughts of its most talented youngsters because they are the people most in touch with the realities of today and the prospects of tomorrow. Really cool. All right. That's the stream. That is the stream.